When I think about my childhood, I don't remember like having a lot of toys or going out to dinner a lot, but I remember a full fridge. And it was filled with fruits and veggies, everything that you had to prepare. All that to say, I never had anything processed in my house. And specifically, if we begged my mom at the grocery store to bring something home that was in a package, my dad would make us sit there and read every ingredient on the back. And the moment we got to an ingredient we couldn't pronounce, we weren't allowed to eat it anymore. Really what they were trying to show us was that we had to know where our food came from and having that ownership for your food system. So my name is Dhalia Bumbaca, and I recently joined The Well as the Director of Development and Programming. So The Well is a 501(c) that operates in the Tampa Bay area since 2004. And what it's really designed to do is build relationship through food. My whole family's Italian, but my grandmother was actually a chef in sort. In like 1965, she started her own businesses as just an immigrant woman in the Toronto area. She was on a cooking show. She actually worked with juveniles, delinquents through a church to use cooking as a way to divert their attention and give them something to do instead of going towards addiction. We used to maintain her 2-acre garden back home in Toronto growing up. For her, every herb had a purpose. Fast forwarding to when I started university, I moved to the Tampa Bay area and I really missed home. I missed the food of my family. I missed having my own garden to pull my basilico from. And so I started to seek it out. Like I said, I didn't really intend to enter this space. It was something that I guess has always been a part of me till one day I was, full on doing the work before I even knew what a food system was or public health was or the real impact of the things that I thought were just so important to me.
So my name is Elizabeth Dunn, and I'm a faculty member at the University of South Florida in the College of Public Health, and I teach classes pertaining to disaster management, humanitarian relief, and homeland security. So initially, I actually started working with refugee populations, and I started traveling all over the world working with a lot of people that were affected by war and conflict. So we started working with well-fed. And so our thought was many of these refugee women really do use such an array of vegetables. They have such wonderful stories of gardens back home where they are picking vegetables and fruits on a daily basis. And so why not pull from the market or items that are in the garden, being able to take those items and make these traditional ethnic dishes from all around the world. Everybody had a great story they can remember as a child, either, when you're walking into a room and you're smelling all the different dishes in the ovens and on the stoves, or all the cutting of the onions and other items. You can see all these different things kind of come together and people sharing all these different stories, hearing stories of back home where families would have one courtyard and they would have one garden that they would all pick from and they would cook together, or hearing about, how vegetables taste different in their home countries compared to here, or how going to the grocery store is so much different compared to the markets back home. I think it kind of brings a sense of just really good memories in terms of how they engage with food. I think really broke down a lot of those barriers, and a lot of those connections were really made because of those conversations centered around food.
Getting back to that thing when I first came here, I didn't know where to find the food that I wanted. I missed going to farmers markets and going to the farmer to get the chicken and his fresh eggs, and I didn't have that network when I first got here. And even in the most recent event that we're putting on with the refugee women, when I told her that she could get farm fresh eggs, just probably 20 minutes outside of downtown Tampa, she was the most excited I've ever seen anybody over eggs. It followed up with a question do you think I can get a live chicken anywhere? And she just wanted to, from scratch, have a chicken. She wanted to prepare that 100% on her own, and that was the thing she missed most from back home. What I'm most excited about for Lemongraft is this idea that you could potentially source organic, relational food. When you pick up that chicken from a farmer, it's not the same as getting an Saran wrap. You're having a conversation.
My name is Anastasie Flor Goro Lesi, and I am from Central Africa. There's lots of differences between the food here and back home, but the big thing is that when you shop back home, you're shopping for that day, so you're cooking for that day. Back home, everything is natural, so when you get the chicken, you get it live, and you prepare it from being live. Same thing with the things in the garden. You go and you pick the things that you're going to cook in that garden. If you want fish, you go and you catch the fish. Or the first time that I ate food here and started shopping here, I immediately noticed I had a stomach ache, and you could hear my stomach, and you could hear the stomach of all of my kids just making lots and lots of noise. I went to the hospital because I thought that something was wrong because I heard all this going on in my stomach. And when I went to the doctor said, yeah, that's going to happen because it's the change of the food, and you're used to eating different, better food than you are here. And so it's going to take 6 months to pass. Your stomach has to get used to eating this new food. And so nothing's wrong, but you're going to have these digestive issues until it's passed and you've got to become more used to the food.
Our garden, it's open to everyone. It's fenced in, but we have family members, people from our temple, they'll just come over and they're like, hi, can we just walk in the fence and pick whatever? And we're like, yeah, go for it. We're always picking stuff and handing out as well. They were having access to things that they don't really have access to without the garden. So items that remind them of home. I understand how much that can comfort someone. Our backyard is like a jungle. We have avocados, starfruit, bananas, pineapple, mangoes, a whole herb garden. We also grow a lot of items that they have in Guyana, and you can't really purchase at Walmart or Publix or anywhere here.
A lot of people, when they come into a new community and when they're finding a sense of belonging in who they are, I think that food really can define or help them in that journey. I think that now more than ever, a lot of our communities are, they want to try new food options. They want to see what you can do with different types of vegetables, and they want to understand how you can maybe access or gain a better understanding of where your food comes from.
I am really so excited to do my own plant, fresh vegetable fruit, onion, eggplant, and mint, and all that fresh fruit. To buy fruit, vegetable from somebody around me, within a walking distance, it would be amazing. It would be awesome. I would love that if there is.
One of my most favorite memories of Italy, we went to every individual farmer and got cheese from this guy and eggs from this person and vegetables from that person. And so we're eating with everybody that we go see. We're getting this food, and then we're coming back to prepare it and eat it together. And so that's my ultimate vision for Lemongraft, with hopefully a little bit more convenience where you don't have to go all day shopping. But yeah, connecting that community of organic produce.
When our mangoes start giving, we have 3 trees. There's buckets and buckets and buckets full of mango, and we don't know what to do with them. So we usually drive around and give them out to family, people who garden. We have an abundance of items, and it would be amazing to actually give it to someone who appreciates it and will benefit from it. It creates different friendships, different bonds and stuff like that. Yeah.
Bon, le jardin de l'Afrique là, on a fait.
In Africa, I had my garden, and I would grow everything. So legumes, so beans and peas, and I found certain seeds at the Chinese market, the Chinese farmers market that I planted, tomatoes. But yes, I had a big garden in Africa. It's better to buy from your community, and I wish I could have it here.
In my research, a real huge focus on food and food security has been really centered around our supply chains. Really kind of has brought it down to how do we make our system more local. Food can be definitely more affordable if you localize your food system. And that is amazing to think that we can do that, even not as large agricultural industry, but also those that have I mean, I see it all the time, a mango tree in their backyard, and they just have so many mangoes and they don't know what to do with them. So they're trying to figure out, how do I get these mangoes to people that want mangoes? So how can we do that better? How can we make sure that we're supporting organizations like Lemongraft to build that local system so that we can make it more integrated?
Get to know your neighbor. I think that oftentimes we're so engaged with either technology or like our social media, our own family and friends, we forget that there's like people living all around us. The best thing you can do is go outside, drop off, banana bread at your neighbor's house, or cookies at your neighbor's house, or a plant at your neighbor's house, and just start that conversation and know who you're living around, because I don't think we can solve the greater problems of life if we're living in these silos.